Some people will say, it's February. You can't draft a fantasy football team yet. And to that, I will say, why not? You can always draft a fantasy football team. And thankfully, in this day and age of fantasy football, it's easier and easier to draft teams. It doesn't have to just be a dynasty team anymore like it used to be, because thankfully, Underdog now has best ball drafts. And I think for the first time ever, they have best ball drafts before the Super Bowl. Usually they wait till after the Super Bowl. Think it's like middle of February, early March when they start their big best ball mania tournament. But they've decided to do them this early this year, and that's awesome. I'm excited for it. They have two drafts right now. They have the big board and the little board, and really the only difference is the prize and the structure and the buy-in. So one's a $10, one's a $3. I'm just going to do the $3 one today. I'm not looking to invest heavily in my best ball drafts yet. I will do that when the best ball mania comes around. But I still want to draft. This is a great time to draft, see how ADPs are looking, see how players and, fantasy players are feeling about the real players in fantasy. And it's a ton of fun. And if you've never done it, I highly recommend you try it because it's not like a redraft league where you have to, make waiver claims, have to make trades during the season. You just draft and you're done. And at the end of the year, hopefully you bank all the money. That's the goal. So let's get into the little board here. Let's see if we can enter a draft. It is a 30-second clock. I will kind of explain the draft as we go along. Looks like we're waiting on 4 or 5 more people here. So while we wait, I will kind of break it down for you. And by the way, if you want to try these drafts, if you may have heard us talk about Underdog all the time during the season with the pick'ems, but if you want to try drafts, you can still do that. And if you haven't signed up, this is a great time. Because if you use our promo code ENDGAME, they're going to give you $100 that you can use in these drafts. Yes, you can use the money they give you in these drafts. And then, like I said, after the Super Bowl, that's when the big drafts come where you can win millions and millions of dollars. But this is a best ball draft, meaning, like I said, you're just drafting a team. You're not setting, then you don't ever set your lineup. You don't do waivers. You don't do trades. So it's a little different. It's 20 rounds. So we're going to draft a lot more players here. And because we can't make waiver wires, we're going to have to make sure we have backup quarterbacks, backup tight ends, things you might not normally do in your regular redraft leagues. It's half PPR. And I believe you start 1 QB, 2 running backs. Where is it? You start 1 QB. There it is. You start 1 QB, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, a tight end, a flex, and then you have 12 bench spots. And here you can see the payouts. 15,000 to first, second, 7,500, et cetera, et cetera. Again, these are smaller tournaments pre-Super Bowl, so not going to be big payouts, but still a ton of fun. And like I said, it's always good to see how ADP is looking, how fantasy players are valuing the players. So it looks like we need one more spot here, and then we'll get to it. What's up, Mary Jo? Good to see you. What's up, Sean? Good to see you as well. Welcome. Glad there's people here checking out the draft. I'm excited to see how the ADP is looking. I did look it over briefly earlier. There was definitely some picks I thought were a little surprising, but we'll see. We'll see as it goes along here how it goes. All right, so here we go. It looks like we are filled. I'm going to pull up the draft board. All right, there we go. So it looks like I'm going to have the number 10 pick. Not my favorite, but it's okay. It's all right. And you can do up to 20 of these drafts. Max of 20, which is great because, if you think about it, it's a $60 investment. Again, if you've never signed up for Underdog, they're going to give you $100 if you use our promo code ENDGAME and you deposit $100. They're not just going to give you $100 for using our our code. But they are going to give you $100 if you deposit $100. And then you can use that to max out this tournament if you want to still have $40 left over. Too Rich, is that you at the 101? Is that you at the 101? Nice. 101's always good. Always good. All right, we got 5 seconds to the draft here. Let me know what you guys would rather see. Would you rather see the board or the players, like the players that are available? Let me know what you'd rather see. And I can toggle back and forth. All right, so no surprise, CMC. So looking at the ADP here, it's looking like we will probably be looking at, Bijan, Gibbs, Kyron. One of those guys, unless maybe if Puka falls. Looks like those are the guys. Puka, Bijan, Gibbs, or Kyron. Now, I will say in these early rounds, I mean, I don't really like to stray too far from ADP anyways in these drafts, but especially in these early rounds, because, we see it every year, even though these guys are first rounders, you know, we're going to have busts in the first round. We're going to have busts and we're going to have guys, that far exceed expectations. So you just want to have pretty balanced exposure to the guys early on, unless there's somebody you're really really off, like you think is valued way too high. So I'm gonna I hope Puka falls to us here. Because I'd like to try a 0 RB to start, but if not, we'll take one of the running backs. So we'll see. We'll see if Puka can make it past these two picks. So right now the players here are Puka, Bijan, Gibbs, and Kyron. Well, Debo. That's pretty early. All right. Yeah, so Too Rich saying I don't want to reach on QB. I really don't like reaching in these drafts at all. Okay, so Puka did go, so I'm going to go ahead and take Bijan. Nothing wrong with Bijan here. So now I may pivot to more of an anchor RB strategy. We'll see how it looks coming back. Yeah, Debo in the first feels a little bold. Definitely feels a little bold. I agree. Top 10 is nuts. Yeah. And that's the thing about this early ADP. We're going to see a lot of craziness. A lot of craziness. All right, there goes Gibbs. So I'd be okay with like Garrett Wilson, AJ Brown. There goes AJ Brown. Hopefully Garrett Wilson can make it back to me. If not, I'm probably gonna have to decide between Nico and DJ Moore. I think I'm gonna prefer DJ Moore. Saying good pick on Bijan. Thank you. I mean, yeah, at that point, I think Bijan's pretty much the pick there. Once those guys are gone, I would have gone Puka over Bijan again, simply just because I would have liked to try a 0 RB draft. But once Puka's gone, all right, well, there goes Garrett Wilson. I think I'm going to go DJ Moore here. Interestingly, if you haven't watched yet, we did our for predicting the first 3 rounds of fantasy drafts, and we got a lot of hate for our DJ Moore pick. I don't think people realize how good DJ Moore was last year. The guy was the wide receiver 6, and he had to play 4 games with Tyson Bagent. He was a wide receiver 6. And it's either going to be Fields or Caleb Williams. Like, I'm okay with either of those guys. So I'm happily taking DJ Moore here. Now, one thing you got to think about in these drafts is you don't get to go to the waiver wire. So, again, going to be taking at least 2 QBs, depending on who I get. At least 2, 3, maybe even 4 tight ends, depending on how tight ends go. Yeah, Sean saying DJ Moore was great in both fantasy and real life. He was. You know what I think it was? I don't think a lot of people drafted DJ Moore. Like, I mean, obviously he was drafted in every league, but I think a lot of people, like, just because he's been bad for so many years, didn't draft him this year, so they didn't realize how good he was, to be honest. Yeah, exactly. Odds are high DJ Moore is still the only weapon. And even if he's not, I mean, we see many teams with 2 wide receiver weapons, and they both can be good. All right, Marvin Harrison Jr. in the second. Be very exciting to see where he winds up this year. Very excited to see him. Oh, you know what we need? You know what we don't have? I'm a little rusty. Haven't done a live stream in a while. Tunes in here. Stephon Diggs in the middle of the second round. How do we feel about that? I don't think I can do it. I can't. He was so bad. I mean, he was so bad the second half of the season, and he's over 30 years old now. I don't know. I mean, I'm not like completely off of Stephon Diggs, but I don't think I can do it in the middle of the second round this year. Even early third. I mean, I get it. I get it. I get early third, but man, Stephon Diggs is either complete dust or I don't know. I don't know. I get it though. It's hard to see the name Stephon Diggs and not take him. I get it. All right, Aiden asking if Laporta is still there. You taking him at the 3-4? I might in this format, especially. In this format, especially because again, I can't go to the waiver wire. I can't play the tight end waiver wire game. I can't, try to stream tight ends. Yeah, I agree. Rice was one of the guys I saw, Sean, when I was looking at the early ADP, and I was kind of surprised that he's going that early. I like Rice. I don't think it's a given that the Chiefs do nothing at wide receiver this year, whether it's draft or free agency. And I don't know if he has the kind of like weekly upside I'm looking for in the second round. I mean, don't get me wrong, he's good, but man, I don't know. We'll see. I think I'd prefer him more in like the third, fourth round personally. All right, so 6 picks away. So we're going to be looking at maybe Tank Dell. I'd like Tank Dell here. That'd be nice. I think I would take Laporta here if he's still on the board. Yeah, that's kind of who I'm looking at here. Tank Dell or Laporta. Yeah, I agree, Aiden. I feel like round 3 is kind of where I feel like I start thinking about QB. Round 2 feels a little early. I know Josh Allen was like phenomenal, but still, I agree because you can kind of Frankenstein a QB1 in this format, especially this tournament here because normally the bigger tournaments, Best Ball Mania, they're only 18 rounds. This is 20. Oh, there goes Laporta. So you can actually go 3 QBs in this and not really hurt you too badly, I don't think. Okay, so now we're going to hope for Tank Dell. I'd be okay with Pittman here too. So Pittman or Dell. That's who we're going to be looking at here. Pittman or Dell. Mike Evans, I guess, would be my third choice if none of those guys make it to me. All right, so we'll see what happens here. I prefer Dell or Pittman. All right, well, it looks like I'm getting one of them. I'll just take whichever one is left. I think I probably prefer Pittman, given the choice. All right, well, there goes Pittman. That makes it easy. We will just go with Tank Dell here. Yeah, you can get those QBs like in that 9 to 12 round range, 9 to 11 round range, and you can get like a couple of them. And then you can get one more later guy. Because again, if you want to go that route, because again, it's best ball. So it's going to automatically pick your highest score. I don't think I mentioned that for anybody that's new. In best ball, at the end of the week, so when the Monday night game is over, it's just going to pick your highest scoring lineup for you. So you don't have to worry about like, oh, which QB of the 3 do I start this week? You just get the one who scores the most points. All right, I would have loved Devonta Smith there. Man, I don't know if I can go Malik Neighbors this high. Malik Neighbors going in the 4th round, huh? Keenan, if he falls, maybe. Keenan, Waddle. Man, I hate taking super old guys like Keenan. But it's probably not as bad. It's not as bad in this format. Like I said, it's best ball. I'm going to end up with a lot of wide receivers. All right. We'll go Keenan. We'll go Keenan. He may draft in a Super Bowl team. Maybe he thinks it's playoffs. Maybe he thinks this is for the playoffs. He's like, I'm the only guy getting the players in the Super Bowl. You know, I'm with you, Chef. I'm with you on the best ball train. I'd like more leagues to be best ball. I know it takes out like kind of the strategy of like who do you start, who do you sit, but sometimes there's no clear answer for who do you start, who do you sit. And then you pick one and one guy goes off and the guy you pick doesn't, and it's very infuriating. Also, it helps with injuries, right? You don't have to worry about like the injury bug as much because if you're drafting very deep teams, like in this format with 20 players, and you're drafting 7 or 8 wide receivers and your number 2 wide receiver gets hurt, it's okay. You have other guys. So well, that makes me feel better. If Evans goes 3-5, Keenan is a great pick 3-9. Yeah. I think he's the fine pick there. Just always nervous about guys like Keenan Allen because you never know when the wheels are going to fall off. Like, right, we might have seen it with Stephon Diggs. We might have seen it with Cooper Kupp. We probably saw it with Austin Eckler. Like, you just never know when the wheels are going to fall off. That's what always makes me nervous about those guys. All right, so another important thing in this format is stacking. So we could be looking at Brock Purdy, the 5th QB off the board. Is that how high we are on Brock Purdy now? Interesting. Stroud would be great. I think Herbert would be great. I think Fields is okay, but I am nervous that if they do trade him, go with Caleb. I am a little nervous about that. But Stroud or Herbert would be fantastic. Well, there goes Stroud. What's up, Brandon? Good to see you. Man, I'm glad we actually have this many people hopped on. I'm impressed. This many people checking out a draft in early February. I am impressed. Oh, man, Herbert's ADP is really low. Justin Herbert, 79. All right, here we go. I know we're going to get a lot of Jameson. We're probably going to talk a lot about Jameson Williams this year. Yes, he could be a breakout. And I think in this format, he's a fantastic pick. Because, again, if he breaks out, awesome. If he doesn't, oh well. Oh well, right? Because you're going to end up drafting, like I said, 7 or 8 wide receivers. He's just going to be one of your 7. So I agree. I don't know where he's going in here. I don't know what his ADP is yet. All right, we're seeing quite the wide receiver run this round. I wouldn't mind Kirk here. I actually don't mind Terry here if he falls. I don't know if I'm ready to take my RB2 just yet with the guys that are on the board. Andrews still on the board. I might go Andrews if he falls to me here. Oh, nope. There goes Andrews. Never mind. Yeah, I like the value on Amari Cooper too. He's always undervalued. I mean, what round here? Round 5, Amari Cooper, always undervalued. Thomas saying he's listening while driving the forklift at work. All right, well, don't get distracted and crash. Yeah, it sucks. Washington doesn't allow the drafts. Hopefully soon. In my opinion, this is the best part. I know Elijah Mitchell. This guy is drafting a Super Bowl team. Elijah Mitchell. What the? All right, well, I'm gonna go with Terry here. Terry McLaurin. You got to think. I don't love that Dan Quinn was the hire, but you got to think they're going to go QB at 2, and that's going to be good for him. So I'm going to go Terry here as my wide receiver 4. Bro, yeah, he misunderstood the assignment for sure. Yeah, Mark Andrews saving someone's life. That's pretty crazy. Type 1 diabetic. Didn't even know. Chef saying Jameson feels like Judy all over again. He feels more like, I don't know who the comp is, but more like those athletic freaky guys. Those guys that but aren't necessarily polished wide receivers. But there's still potential. There's still potential for Jameson, and I would certainly give him a shot in a format like this. All right, man, I might just go. I really don't want to take any of these running backs here. Eckler, Chubb, Aaron Jones, Ramondre. I don't know if I want to take a tight end. I will say I would love to get Christian Kirk here. Let me get Christian Kirk. What's up, Brian? All right. Give me Christian Kirk. I'll take Christian Kirk here. All right. Any chance we can get Herbert on the way back? Let's hope. All right. Who do I believe in more? Jameson Williams or Christian Watson? I would probably say Christian Watson, because for me, Christian Watson, it just comes down to being healthy. Like we have seen Christian Watson, when he is fully healthy, he's not on the injury report, he's been a monster. Jameson, it's not like Jameson Williams has been hurt. I know rookie year he's coming back from ACL, but this year, I mean, yeah, he missed 3 games or whatever it was with the suspension, but it's not like he's been hurt. It's a little concerning that Jameson Williams rarely gets targeted. Like if he was getting targets and he felt more involved, I'd feel better about him. But it's pretty concerning that he's not really a big part of the offense. So I think right now, if I had to believe in one more, it would be Christian Watson. Because really for Christian Watson, it just comes down to, can this dude get on the field and actually be healthy? All right, let's see. Can I move this board? Let me see. Oh, that's too small. All right, there you go. Now you guys can see the board without my face blocking it. Yeah, Waddle is tough this year. He's one of those guys that you feel like he should be great. Last year wasn't a great year, but I still believe in Waddle. I still believe in the talent. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, that they might actually cancel this because of his picks. Like, is he in here? Like, is there? Because sadly, this is something that happens in these drafts. But maybe he just doesn't know what he's doing. I don't know. But now he picked CEH. Yeah, this is crazy. What do you think about hiring Mike McDonald for the Hawks? I like that a lot. I think it's good. I think he's a good coach. He's young. I like that. I like it. Yeah, there's definitely an argument to be made for Jameson Williams. No doubt about it. And you're right, they did use him a bit more in the championship game, which is nice to see. I'm going to scroll us down a little bit so everybody can see the upcoming picks. This is a make or break year for Jameson Williams. No doubt about it. Make or break year here. Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Austin Eckler, a no doubt first rounder. 7th round now. Whew. All right. I would really love Justin Herbert here, or even Justin Fields. I just hope that that he's with the Bears. But I wouldn't mind Herbert here. Here we go. Here's our first drafted in February comment. You know they're coming. What do you have better to do than? Although I will say, drafting in February, y'all must have nothing better to do, says the guy who clicked on a fantasy football draft in February and dropped a comment. So I'm wondering what you're doing right now. I mean, is there really February drafts are the best value? Is there really ever a bad time to draft a fantasy team? Come on, it's like Well, I don't know what time it is for everybody else. It might be like 6 p.m., but it's like 3 p.m. on a Friday. Come on, what else are you going to do? The Leslie Frazier? Man, I haven't heard that name in a long time. All right, we got to figure out what we're doing here. I really don't want to take Fields. I'm going to take Tyjae Spears as my RB2. I love the upside potential here with him. With Derrick Henry probably gone. JSC asking earliest I draft QB in a 1 QB league, round 3. That's when I'll start considering like the Josh Allens, the Lamars, guys like that. Round 3. All right, there goes Fields. So now my gamble is that Herbert will make it back around to me. This guy already has Jalen Hurts, so he probably isn't going to take a QB. And Burrow's still on the board. I should be able to get Herbert here. Stack him with Keenan. Get the Herbert Keenan stack. Yeah, Spears. Right now, Spears still feels a little undervalued, but man, as soon as Derrick Henry signs with another team, Tyjae Spears is probably going to be going in like the 4th, 5th round drafts. No doubt about it. All right, so we should get Herbert here because this guy's already got 2 QBs. Doubt he's going to take a 3rd. Yes, Achan went in round 2, I believe. Oh my gosh, he took his 3rd QB, but it was Burrow. What is going on? Yeah, what is going on in this draft? This guy's got Lamar, Fields, and Burrow. Okay, but I got my Herbert Keenan stack. Nothing wrong with that. How do I feel about Pollard and Najee this year? I feel the same about Najee as I always do. Well, granted, other than year 2 or his rookie year and year 2 when I liked him a lot. I feel like Najee will be solid. One thing I think that was lost on, 2 things I think that were lost on people last year. Number 1, Najee Harris was actually good. He wasn't elite, but he was good. Number 2, when they got Broderick Jones back healthy, that offensive line got way better and the running game got way better down the stretch. And look, now he's got Arthur Smith. They're probably just going to run the ball. It's probably going to be him and Jalen Warren. It's just the way it is. So I think Najee will be solid. Nothing exciting, but he'll be solid. Pollard is the guy. He's the big question mark because number 1, remember they franchise tagged him last year. No guarantee he's back with Dallas. What if they sign Derrick Henry, and let him walk? So no guarantee there. But I still think Pollard's a talented enough guy. But it will really depend on what happens with him in free agency. Do they franchise tag him again? Do they let him walk? And where does he end up? No, Brian, it's not a super flex. This is I think it's called the little board. There's a big board and a little board. Best ball tournaments, like Best Ball Mania, 20 rounds. I don't know why that guy drafted 3 QBs. We got another guy in here drafting only 49ers and Chiefs, literally, which seems very fishy. So, yeah. Yeah, we got a lot of some interesting draft strategies here. Wow, how far has Trevor Lawrence fallen? Going behind Kyler, Jordan Love, Cousins. I wouldn't. Yeah, this is definitely gonna. I think this is at least. I'm gonna at least be having 3 tight ends here in this draft. Maybe even 4. The way it's going right now. Amon-Ra at the 4.3. Was that in your home league or something? What the heck? That is a league winning pick right there. Amon-Ra at the 4.3. I mean, Amon-Ra almost anywhere was a league winning pick last year, but at the 4.3, it's crazy. Yeah, Brian Robinson's going to be interesting with the new staff, but you should feel pretty good about him. There goes Jameson. I was thinking about him here. I might go tight end here now. Let's see. Like Jake Ferguson, Kyle Pitts. I know people will roll their eyes, but look, no Arthur Smith. He's still young. It's best ball, so I don't have to worry about his bad games as much. All right, yeah, so no, there's no real... I mean, I don't know if I want to grab Swift here. Another guy we don't know necessarily where he's going to be next year. Hawkinson, I guess is your tight end too, Hawkinson. Okay. I'd like to get Pitts here and then maybe get T-Law on the way back. And then maybe only take 2 QBs. Or maybe a third one really late. Oh my gosh, Deneric Prince. What is going on here? Maybe I need to start doing the $10 drafts. Maybe these $3 drafts. Yeah, that seems very fishy. Oh, Pitts. All right, time to pivot a little bit here. Well, let's go Ferguson. All right, Eli with a good question. Is Nick Chubb really that bad? It's not that Nick Chubb is that bad. It said Nick Chubb tore pretty much everything in his knee, and he just had ACL surgery on November 23rd. And we know it's typically 9 months to return to play from the time you have your surgery, which puts him at, what is that? December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August. That means like maybe he's back for the start of the season, but probably not. And we're talking about every ligament in his knee, the worst kind of ACL tear, not the straight ACL. Like, I don't know. It's a brutal injury. And he's, 20? He's not young. He's not like one of these young guys. He's 29 now, I think. 28, 29. I don't know. He worries me. All right, I think I'm going to go T-Law here. Unless this guy takes his 4th QB. Yeah, thank you. September. So best case, he's back like early in the year, but not close to 100%. I don't know. Kind of think like Javonte last year. And unlike Brees, who made a living catching little dinky dump-offs from Trevor Siemian and Tim Boyle, that's not going to happen for Nick Chubb. Like, Brees was good in fantasy down the stretch. Like, he was terrible for most of the year, but good down the stretch. But that's only because of his pass catching. Only because he did not do anything on the ground. Hardly anything on the ground. All right, so Sean asking about Swift. Why is Swift so low? I think that the concerns here are, number one, like we did see, he had that nice start early to the year, but he kind of faded down the stretch. But number two, he's not under contract with any team. We don't know, is he going to be back with the Eagles? Is he going to go somewhere else? So, All right, so I got 2 stacks here, which I'm happy about. I got the Herbert Keenan stack. I got the T-Law Christian Kirk stack. Right now, we have 2 running backs, 5 wide receivers, 2 QBs, and a tight end. Thinking I'm probably going to end up with at least 3 tight ends. Maybe 3 QBs and go 7 and 7. Maybe 7 and 8 and 2 QBs. We'll see. We will see. Yeah, Burrow. I think Burrow is so low because people just feel like he's injury prone and he always gets hurt. That's the only thing I can think of for Burrow. People just like, he's always hurt. Too Rich saying, should I take the hype? I don't know what the hype is, but if he's got upside, I would take him. I don't think Goff was the hype. Who's the hype? Let's see. Let's see who the hype is if he takes him. I like that pick. I like Dotson. I mean, again, the same reason I like Terry. Got to think Commanders getting a new QB. I mean, look, Dotson was a big disappointment last year. Oh, man, big disappointment. But he's still a talented guy. And if they get Drake May, Jalen Daniels, I mean, I don't know if they're going to trade up for Caleb Moore or Caleb Williams. I'm sure they'll try. Oh, he was thinking of taking Caleb. That was the hype, taking Caleb. Well, he went right after. Maybe he should have. Went right after you. Saying I'm never drafting Deshaun Watson again. Yeah. He's going to be tough to trust in 1 QB leagues. But, I mean, look, we see nobody thought Geno would do what he did a couple years ago. Nobody thought Baker would do what he did this year. You just never know. At least we know Deshaun Watson is talented. He just hasn't been the same since the off-the-field stuff. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with the Goff pick. He's solid. I mean, he's your QB3, I think, so it's fine. All right, gotta start thinking about my pick here. Ooh, Rashawn. Wow, Rashawn going this early, huh? I don't mind gambling on Rashawn here. Ooh, Zamir White's interesting. Chuba's interesting. Man. Is he going to be the guy? Are they going to replace him in the draft and free agency? Well, there goes Chuba. Don't have to worry about it. Kind of liking Rashawn here if he makes it to me. Jerry Jeudy. 120. No, I'm not taking Jerry Jeudy. Maybe Schultz? It feels a little early for Schultz. Sniped on Rashawn. Panic pick, panic pick. Go with Zamir. I don't usually like reaching that far on players, but there's no one I love here. He did do well. So Chuba did do well. No doubt. Definitely better than Miles Sanders. But I don't feel like he's the type of running back that's irreplaceable. Like if a running back they like falls to them in the draft, I could see him taking him. Probably not free agency because they're already paying Miles Sanders money. But I mean, he could certainly escape the draft and be the guy still. Musgrave or Schultz? If we go with one here, it's kind of what I'm feeling. Musgrave or Schultz? Schultz or Musgrave? I think Schultz has the bigger boom games in him, the higher ceiling games. I'm going to lean that way in best ball. I'm going to go Schultz. Carolina offense improves. I mean, almost has to, right? Dave Canales, he just saved Baker Mayfield's career. Can you do the same thing with Bryce Young? Look, I still think Bryce Young is a talented player. It's not like I think Bryce Young is bad. I think he's a talented player. I think he was in a terrible situation. I mean, I think it almost has to improve because it was the worst offense in the league. I mean, them and the Jets were competing for worst offense in the league. It almost has to improve. How much is the question? How much is it going to improve? That's the question. All right, I need to start looking at some rookies here. Bryce Young next Trevor Lawrence? Possibly. You can't write these guys off after 1 year. I mean, look, Jared Goff had one of the worst year ones we've ever seen from a QB. Peyton Manning set the record that still stands to this day. Interceptions thrown in a season, not by a rookie, by anybody, any QB ever. Peyton Manning has a record. Can't write these guys off after 1 year. How soon is too soon? I don't. That's a good question for Leggett. I don't know. He's not one of my favorite prospects, but you do want to get some exposure to rookies early on before the draft because, the ones that get drafted higher than we think or to better situations than we think, their ADP is going to go way up. So you're going to have an advantage in that sense. So wherever I'm willing to take some of these rookies that I like at cost, wherever their ADP is, honestly. Jaden Daniels more like, he could be this year's CJ Stroud, but he's more like an Anthony Richardson light. I think people forget how good Anthony Richardson was before he got hurt. I mean, the dude was like, if he had stayed healthy, he was, granted, there's a long way to go. You don't know what could have happened, but he was looking like an absolute league winner. I think that's what we can see from Jaden Daniels. I think he's a more polished passer at the moment than Anthony Richardson was. Not quite the athlete Anthony Richardson was. Anthony Richardson might be the best athlete we've ever seen at QB. I don't know. Maybe Michael Vick, somebody like that, but he's up there as one of the best. So Spearsy, what's up? This is the question. This is the tough question that we don't really know yet. I don't really have a good feel for. Man, what a great spot if you're Chicago. It's like you can either you can sell the number 1 pick for a haul. Get whatever you want pretty much for it. Kind of like what they did last year. Get DJ Moore, right? Another top 10 pick and the number 1 pick this year. Or you can trade Justin Fields for probably a pretty good return and take Caleb Williams and kind of start over with a potentially, generational talent at quarterback. Great spot. Chicago's in a great spot, and I'm sure I bet you they have not decided yet. I'm sure they have not decided yet. Yeah, he's saying he's a Bear. I bet you the Bears are conflicted. Ryan Poles, I'll bet you they're conflicted because there's no bad option. There's no bad option. The Bears are like, not very often you see an NFL team in this spot where there is like, the only bad option is if you like trade Justin Fields for pennies. And then it's like, okay, you screwed up. All right, coming up again, we need to start. We could use running back help, wide receiver, anything here. I might go Xavier Worthy if he's still there to get a. Wow, Ladd McConkey at 149. I didn't know people were that high on him. I do like Ladd McConkey. I might just take the value. Oh, there goes Herbert. I was thinking about him. It's good value here. I might go Benson, Worthy, or McConkey to get some rookie exposure here. I think Benson might be my best choice because I do need running backs more. All right, who went? All right, Benson's still on the board. I'm a little light at running back. I'm going to go with him. Get some rookies in here. Yeah, really, really no bad option for the Bears. Like, it's just a matter of, do you commit to Fields and do you trade the 101 for an absolute haul like you did last year, and maybe you get, I don't know, who's a team around there, like maybe if the Commanders are desperate for Caleb Williams, you get Terry McLaurin, a top 10 pick next year, whatever. Patriots, I don't know what the Patriots really give them. I'm trying to think what teams are up there that are like desperate for QB. Or you trade Fields and you can get a good return for Fields as well. So, yeah, really no bad options. All right, if Ladd is still on the board here, I'm going to take Ladd. If Ladd goes, maybe Wan'Dale Robinson? I don't know if he has a ceiling I'm looking for in this format, though. All right, Thielen. I'm going to go with Ladd McConkey here. Get some rookie exposure. Yeah, after Mahomes, not sure the Bears could do anything. I mean, yeah, you can make that argument, but you can also, like, you look at guys like Trevor Lawrence, who's supposed to be like a generational talent. But yeah, I mean, it's hard not to take Caleb Williams. I agree. It's just, again, it's a matter of, do you feel confident enough in Fields that, like, hey, if we can get another stud wide receiver, or maybe a stud edge or something like that, which they need because they don't sack anybody, and plus another first round pick or something, like, is it worth it? Or do you kind of start over with Caleb? Not start over, but you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, start over with Caleb and build around that QB, which makes a lot of sense because Fields, I think this is the last year of his deal, isn't it? This year or next year, I can't remember. So it does make sense. Yeah, well, this could be the other problem for the Bears if they are trying to trade Fields. You don't want to just give Fields away. So Thomas saying Hurdy's only worth a third. I gotta think he's worth more than that. I mean, we've seen QBs go for so much. Like, I think you gotta get at least a first for Fields. He's still a young quarterback with tons of potential. This is the NFL. There's not that many quarterbacks. I don't think I would trade. I definitely wouldn't trade him for a third if it was me, personally. Flacco asking, will Joe Flacco be back? I think he'll be somewhere as a backup, I'm guessing. I doubt he'll be starting anywhere. I think what was lost on Joe Flacco last year, because the Browns won, and we saw it in the playoffs. The dude threw 8 interceptions. He started like 5 games? And then in the playoffs, he threw 2 pick sixes. He got away with those interceptions in the regular season because they weren't pick sixes, and he had that elite defense that could get him the ball back. But man, that's 10 interceptions in 7 games that he started, I think? 6 games he started? Like, he's a turnover machine, so I don't think he's going to be a starter next year, but I could see him being a backup somewhere. I would love Fields in Atlanta. Spearsy. That team, Atlanta, people don't realize how close Atlanta is. Their defense was good last year. They have 3 top 8 picks on that offense. An alpha wide receiver, an absolute generational talent at running back, another generational talent at tight end. Like, they have so many pieces on that team. They are truly a quarterback away from doing what Houston did last year. So, yeah, if they could get Fields, I think that would be huge. I think it'd be great for fantasy too. What round are we in here? Where are we at here? We were in round 15. 6 picks left. Would like a third QB. Geno. Daniel Jones. Who else is left there? Carr. I might wait on that a little bit. Jaleel, Gus Edwards, Damian Pierce. Man. I might gamble on Mingo here. I'm going to take Mingo. Mingo kind of came on down the stretch. Pierre talks about him. Our video that's going to come out on Monday. He kind of came on down the stretch. You got to think Canales there. You got to take a look at this guy you drafted last year. We'll gamble on Mingo. What am I looking at? Use another tight end. Maybe another QB. Ooh, I like Chig a bit later. Can we get Chig? Can we get Chig as my QB3 and maybe stack him with Will Levis? Wonder if are we good at QB with just Herbert and T-Law? Yeah, I don't want Gus Edwards. I might go Justice Hill here. Dobbins coming off Achilles. Gus Edwards. I don't know. Justice Hill started getting a lot of run. A lot of run down the stretch. I think I'm done at wide receiver. I got 7 wide receivers. And I really kind of ignored running back early, so I need to hit running back hard. I think I would like one more tight end. Unless I don't go 3 QBs, then I might go one more wide receiver. Oh yeah, here we go. This is KC or San Fran. I think it's close. I think the reason I give KC the edge, sorry, Purdy truthers, quarterback and coach. Quarterback and coach. And maybe even defense. I think KC even has a defensive edge, honestly. So I think I think it's going to be KC in a close one. What's scarier, Ravens running backs or Vikings running backs? I don't know. At least Ravens running backs, when they're on the field, they seem to be pretty productive. Vikings just not a good running team. Yeah, I agree. Levis is a good buy. Got to think. I mean, I don't think the Titans are going to be replacing him. They did just use a second-round pick on him last year, so I don't think they're going to move on from him. I think they'll give him a chance this year. Malachi Corley. I have to say no. Man, the running backs are ugly. Kenneth Gainwell could be interesting. I'm not drafting Zeke. Don't ask me about Zeke. I would like to get Chig here as my tight end 3. I like Chig this year. Yeah, it's true. Ravens do have a lot of running backs. That's true. We can't forget about Keaton Mitchell, but man, he tore his ACL so late in the season. But I mean, like J.K. Dobbins, Achilles, and he's not even under contract next year, so who knows? Gus Edwards, he's all right. I don't know. I think Justice Hill's the Ravens running back I want if I'm picking one. But yeah, you're right. It's not obvious. There you go. You click the thumb up. Heaven will add a tally in the good column for you. There you go. Click that thumbs up. I'm impressed. We have almost 50 people on here. I'm impressed. In early February. I wasn't sure if I was just going to be talking to myself today. And don't forget, guys, if you haven't tried Underdog yet and you want to do these drafts, go go sign up. Use our promo code Endgame. They'll match your deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. You can take that free money and you can do these drafts risk-free with the underdog money, not even your money. Use the underdog money. Just use promo code Endgame when you sign up. And you can do all the pick'ems for all the sports, baseball, basketball, hockey, football when it starts back up, college. It's awesome. Highly recommend it. All right, so I might go... how are these guys looking at? I think I need running back more than I need tight end. I kind of really like Kenneth Gainwell here. I think I'm going to go Gainwell here. Take a chance that they don't bring Swift back. And I'm going to hope I can get one of Chig or Juwan Johnson on the way back. Let's see if we can get Chig or Juwan. That was my tight end 3. Well, there goes Juwan. Now, this guy did just take Isaiah Likely with his last pick. So let's hope he doesn't take tight end here. Otherwise, we'll have to pivot. Really don't want A.J. Dillon. I'm kind of talking myself into 2 QBs. He took Chig. He took Will and Chig. Took Levis and Chig. I might go Jalen Hyatt here. Saw somewhere where the Seahawks could look at Zach Wilson as the backup? As Geno's backup, I hope? Oh, man, I just got sniped on Jalen Hyatt. All right. I don't like Noah Fant. Let's go Everett. We got Herbert. We got Keenan. Let's go Gerald Everett. My tight end 3. All right, so good question. Office Depot must be just joining us, I assume. So what's the format this early? I'm assuming Dynasty with the rookie draft later. No, but I am in one of those as well. I'm in a draft like that as well. This is a best ball draft for next season. So it includes vets and rookies, and we're drafting for next season. It's 20 rounds. Best ball meaning you don't do anything during the season. You don't do waiver wires. You don't do trades. You don't set your lineup. Each week, it sets a lineup for you based on your highest scoring total. And then at the end of the year, most points. It's a tournament. So, like, you advance. Basically, $3 buy-in, $15,000 to first, but they pay down, way down below first and everything. It's a great way. I mean, you can do tons of these, and it doesn't affect your dynasty leagues. It doesn't affect your redraft leagues because, again, you just draft. You just draft. No in-season management. And then hopefully at the end of the year, you win some cash. That's the goal. So if you haven't tried it yet, I highly recommend it. It's a ton of fun. It's a great way to kind of like get a feel for how players are being valued in drafts. And like I said, it's a ton of fun. And as I keep saying, if you haven't tried it yet, if you use our promo code, you sign up with promo code Endgame. You can see it down there scrolling at the bottom. Underdog will match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to $100. So you put in 100, they just give you 100, and you can use it right away on these drafts. And this draft is only $3. You do 20 up to 20 of them. Yeah. Saying it looks fun. It's a ton of fun. And like I said, it doesn't interfere with your dynasty or redraft league. I mean, I got a dynasty draft going on too. Not. It's a slow draft, so it's not like I'm on the clock right now. Right? All right, Spearsy asking, huge Saints fan. Michael Thomas is probably done. Let's hope so. In New Orleans. A.T. Perry and Kendry Miller. I certainly could see. I could see Kendry Miller and Alvin Kamara being a Thunder Lightning type of duo, like Mark Ingram and Kamara used to be back in the day. Kamara should not be getting that many. He's terrible on the ground. He's still okay as a pass catcher, but he's terrible on the ground. A.T. Perry, not a great rookie year. I mean, I know he's still a rookie. You don't want to give up on him, but man. I like A.T. Perry, but I admit that he's very raw and he's got a lot of work to do. So hopefully he develops. I think Rashid Shaheed has a better chance than A.T. Perry, to be honest. All right, we got a dynasty question. So he's getting Derek Carr, Brandon Ayuk, Rachaad White, and a 25 mid-first and a third, and you're giving up C.J. Stroud. You're getting Ayuk, Rachaad White, a mid-first, and I think you have to take this deal. I like C.J. Stroud, but I mean, look, with a mid-first, you might get, I don't know if you're going to want. I mean, still, you're getting Brandon Ayuk. You're getting a stud young wide receiver. You're getting Rachaad White, a good young running back. You're getting a mid-first. Derek Carr, okay, whatever. You got Allen and Kyler. I think you have to take this deal, especially in a start 11 where you need the depth. I think you have to take this deal. Flacco saying did about 7. I'm very fun. Yeah, we're going to be doing them all off season, especially once the big tournament starts. Let's go win. Let's go win millions. Go win millions. All right, Chef. Fun having you in here. Appreciate you. Good night. See you next time. All right, coming up on my pick here. I need running backs. Madison, gross. Michael Francor Jr. Where do I go? Wide receiver here? And running back with the last pick? Nah. All right, I think I'm going to go Frank Gore Jr. Hope he's as good as his dad. And we're going to finish with wide receiver here. I'm going to gamble. Yeah, I'm going to gamble on my 2 QBs. I got Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence. I think I should be okay. We'll see. So who do we like here? Demarcus Robinson? He's interesting. Cooper Kupp? Maybe fading. Chark in Carolina is interesting. Tillman. I like Ricky Pearsall. I want another rookie. Like Jermaine Burton. You too, Mary. Appreciate you being on here. Have a good weekend. Speaking of A.T. Perry, there he is. But I think I would like Demarcus Robinson the best. If he's gone, All right. Well, Demarcus Robinson's still there. Let's do it. All right. We'll let the rest of the draft play out here. See how it finishes. See how Mr. Irrelevant is. How do I look at this? How do I pull this out? Maybe it'll happen at the end. Bo Nix. Yes, rest in peace, Carl Weathers. Rocky, Predator. Yeah. Yes, rest in peace, Carl Weathers. Brought us a lot of good 80s. I guess 70s and 80s. Yeah, Chubbs, exactly. That's right. Chubbs. That's right. All right, a few more picks here. Not going to go over the whole board. Too big of a board. Probably just break down my team here. Was he in Waterboy too? Was he in that? I never really watched Waterboy. Never watched Waterboy. Adam Sandler's voice annoyed me too much. I couldn't watch it. But he was great in Happy Gilmore. He's great in Happy Gilmore. All right, last two picks. Oh, what happened? Okay, all right. It closes automatically. That's weird. All right, let's pull it up here. All right, well, we'll just go over my team. Everybody see this? Am I on the right screen? I am not. All right, so we're done. So I went with the 2783 build. So two QBs, 7 running backs, 8 wide receivers, 3 tight ends. Again, this is best ball. You only start 1 QB, 2 running backs, 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and a flex every week. And the computer automatically sets your best lineup. So my QBs are Justin Herbert, Trevor Lawrence. I'm definitely rolling the dice with just 2, but I think with those 2 guys, I'll be okay. We'll see. Got Bijan, Tyjae Spears, Zamir White, Trey Benson, Justice Hill, Kenneth Gainwell, and Frank Gore Jr. at running back. So I have a couple potential year 2 guys like Zamir and Tyjae Spears who could be the guy. Got some rookies in there and then some dice rolls. Went DJ Moore, Tank Dell, Keenan Allen, Terry McLaurin, Christian Kirk. I mean, I love that. I love those 5 guys. Got Lad McConkey, Jonathan Mingo, Demarcus Robinson. So I got plenty of upside and depth at wide receiver. Jake Ferguson, Dalton Schultz, and Gerald Everett as my 3 tight ends. I like this. I like this team for my first best ball draft of the year. I'm pretty happy with it. So going to be doing more of these. Appreciate everybody being on here. Impressed with how many people we had in early February. That's great to see. Don't forget, if you haven't tried Underdog, you want to give it a shot, go sign up. Use our promo code ENDGAME when you do. They'll match your first deposit, dollar for dollar, up to $100. Take the free money they give you. Use it. Use it on these drafts. Use it on pick'ems. Whatever you want. It's free money. Use it. Appreciate you guys being on here. Appreciate the questions and chatting with you guys. looking forward to it. I think Pierre will be on here tomorrow, by the way. So keep your eyes out for that. And then I will probably be back on Monday. Maybe we'll both be back on Monday. Maybe we'll both be able to draft. We're going to do some together as well. So appreciate it, guys. Appreciate each and every one of you. Enjoy your weekend.